Today's talk is about your legacy, right? And it doesn't mean just your estate. Right? Your legacy is what you leave behind when you leave this vehicle, this body. What will you leave behind in the world? What will you leave behind that people remember or mention? I said a couple of weeks ago, my grandmother, Audrey was her name. My grandma has been gone from the planet for 44 years. And I remember her every day. Every time I plant something in my garden, I remember Grandma teaching me how to plant flowers and how to take care of them. There are 2 trees in her front yard in New Orleans that I planted when I was 13 years old. And every time I go home, I bring my husband and my kids and myself to that house and look at the magnolia trees I planted decades ago that are still growing. What will you leave behind that touches other people and that leaves an impact on the planet? When are we going to start thinking about it? When do we take positive steps towards it? Of course, I think the answer is we should have started from the first day we were on the planet. But when we come consciously aware of that everything we do and everything we say and the thoughts we hold have a lasting imprint like the ripples on a pond, we get to think and be different about it. And we get to consciously set the intention for what legacy we leave behind. Marcus Aurelius said it like this: what we do now echoes in eternity. Did you get that? The echoes of eternity. I invite you to think about someone who touched your life profoundly, right? If you're like me, they come up really quickly. But someone who made an impact and you knew you were safe with, that you were loved, you were cared for, and that you do things today that person taught you. It may be a teacher, it may be a parent or a grandparent, it may be a friend, right? Those legacies last longer than we can imagine because we pass it down too. Audrey is also Roma's middle name, right? So we pass down the names, we pass down the teachings, we pass down the love, we pass down it all through eternity. So what do we do right now when the world seems to be all in turmoil? Politics is crazy in this nation. There's wars raging across the planet, not just in Ukraine and Russia, but all across the Middle East and into Africa. There's a hurricane in California. Okay, just breathe that in for a minute too, right? The last one that struck California was in the 1930s, right? So 90 years since that's happened again. The wildfires that always seem to be once in a lifetime wildfires that are everyday occurrences. What legacy do we leave on the planet? What footprint do we leave? There's the famous footprints in the sand. Right? What are you leaving behind in the sand? Well, sand changes, but what we leave behind is the planet itself. And how are we going to be good stewards of it? How are we going to care for the planet? So whether that's taking vibrant and decisive action in the social arena of climate change, or by doing your part in recycling. Again, another family story. My husband, JD's this is sitting right here. We were visiting my father in Atlanta, right? And my father is a former oil executive, right? That's how Dad made his money his whole life. He worked in the oil industry in Louisiana and now in Atlanta. And we were helping him put out the trash, and we noticed that he wasn't recycling. And he said to us, he goes, "Oh yeah, what I do makes no difference." And we said, "But because at first he told us, the year before, he told us, oh, we don't do recycling here. And I believed it. It was Georgia. But we were putting out the trash, and JD noticed that there were all these blue containers out all over the street. And he said to Dad, your neighbors recycle. He goes, yeah, but what I do makes no difference. And that idea, now, I didn't fight with my dad over this. I choose my battles very carefully. But I just want to point out that JD, because he has not the same triggers I do with my dad, said to him, but don't you want to do it for your grandkids? Right? And so that idea that what we do makes no difference is throwing in the towel, is giving up. It's not surrendering to what is, it is giving up having an impact. It is negating our own personal power. Everything we do has an effect, right? I catch myself sometimes when I'm like, I gotta pick up that trash. It's like, yeah, I wanna pick up the trash, but sometimes I'm exhausted and don't wanna go the extra step to pick up the garbage on the street, or it's just gonna blow away anyway, and that one piece isn't gonna make a difference. But just like my dad, I wonder where I learned that. Just like my dad, everything helps. If all of us pick up the trash, if all of us do some part in recycling, if some of us or all of us cut down a little bit of our carbon footprint, the effect is no longer little. It's magnificent. It's world and life-changing. The same is true for things all around our lives. I love this quote. The things you do for yourself are gone when you are gone, but the things you do for others remain as your legacy. We have been so much in a society of understanding just what we need, of working and striving for our own personal fulfillment and unfoldment, that sometimes we forget that the biggest legacy we can leave is to other people. For those of you who are parents or grandparents or uncles and gunkles and aunts, and I don't know what the gay version of aunts is. Is there a word for it? Gunkle? Is gunkle too? All right, we'll see about that. Maybe we can coin it. So those things we get to leave with our children are incredibly important, because to leave something and to create a generation that does better than we did, that was taught better than we were, is important, because they're the ones who are going to solve this stuff, right? They really are the ones who have to solve some of the stuff that we have started and will not finish on this planet. So how do we support children? We know what we do here at Unity San Francisco. We have an affirmation. We have the teaching program down there for the kids so that we raise the next generation of people who don't have to wait until their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s to find unity and to find positive thinking, but can find it from the time they are born, right? I was so grateful in 1989 when I stumbled across Unity and found positive thinking, because it changed my life, and I wouldn't be standing here with you without that moment of clarity and awakening. And we also have the chance right here and right now to dig deep. We have the chance to awaken again and go, okay, so I may have thought that I was awake. I may have thought that I understood positive thinking. I may have thought that I understood what unity teaches. But did I really? Because how am I applying it in my life? Am I applying it in every relationship? Am I looking at the people in my life and seeing them positively, wholly, completely, understanding that they are doing the absolute best they can do at this moment, instead of judging them and condemning them and being exasperated by them? You know, this moment is an opportunity to start a clean slate, to start over completely and to choose to leave your legacy? What if every person you met today, every person you interacted with, every person you think of today, all you did is send them positive love? To look at them as the miracle they are, for everything they have overcome, everything that has lifted them beyond how they were raised to what they can possibly be. Then, what you're doing, like the quote says, is what you're doing for others leaves a legacy that will last beyond anything else. One of my favorite things to do as a minister is to do memorial services. They are incredibly painful. They are raw and real. And I get to hear stories about what a difference these people made, how they touched lives, how they changed the people who remain. And that's the most important legacy you can give. It goes beyond what you can give financially to your family and to organizations you love. But yes, you should do that, especially to Unity San Francisco. And at the same time, you should be leaving a legacy of love to Unity San Francisco and to all of the people in your life, seeing the wholeness, the beauty, the infinite possibility that exists in every moment. I had an experience yesterday. In case you haven't noticed, I'm an extrovert. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear. I'm coming out of the closet as an extrovert. Okay, in case you didn't know that. But we started at our house yesterday with a 5-year-old birthday party. Joshua turned 5, and we had his birthday party yesterday. And so 13 kids show up, all of their parents show up. We spent the whole morning getting ready. We're doing it all. And then the party happens, and it's all going and bustling, and it's so fabulous and wonderful. And then I take Roma back here into the city to her best friend, for our next door neighbor when we lived here in the city, and a birthday party there. And I'm interacting with the parents and the kids, and it's a whole other kiddie birthday party. And when I drive back home 3 hours later and 4 hours later, now there's a party going in my house. Our housemate, Sarah, who lives in the yurt in our yard, is throwing herself a birthday party, and there's 40 people all spread out over my deck, all of whom I think I know 2 of them. And it was like, oh my God, that moment when you're, don't know if I can do this anymore, if I can meet one other person I don't know. Well, imagine the first time you walk into Unity San Francisco and you know no one, right? That moment when someone greets you with a smile and someone greets you with a warm welcome and asks you, how can we help you? And greets you with care and concern is an amazing gift and to leave a legacy with. So after I collected myself for a moment yesterday and took a deep breath and went up to my room for a minute and calmed down, I went back out and enjoyed the party. I didn't stay long, but I met some people. I met some wonderful people. I helped where I could, and then I went and took care and took of my family. So every little bit that we do, even when we feel we are at the end of our capacity and ability, is we can reframe it with love, self-care, and then care for others. Showing up as a way to make a difference. Our own Maya Angelou said it this way: if you're going to live, leave a legacy. If you're going to be here on this planet, if you're going to be here in this body, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that can't be erased. Right? She certainly did that, right? And doing that made her famous, right? But it doesn't matter if we're famous or not. It doesn't matter if we have this kind of platform or on TV or published. Your life is your platform. Your life is your platform. Do you get that? You don't need to wait till there's a moment that somebody says, here, please take the stage. You don't have to wait till they come and interview you for Oprah or they interview you for the news. Usually that's a very notorious legacy you're leaving, or it can be a notorious legacy you're leaving when that happens. You can use your life, your very presence on this earth, as the spotlight, not shining on you, but from you on other people. You leave a legacy by seeing the good in others. You leave a legacy by helping others when they're down and out. You leave a legacy by teaching others things that will improve their life. You leave a legacy by inspiring others to follow in your footsteps. Leave a legacy that can't be erased. Whether your passion is the world, whether your passion is spirituality, finding the truth of what connects us all and the larger picture, that's obviously my passion. There is something that is greater than our individual selves. And whether it is something we call God, Spirit, spirituality, Jesus, Lord, Buddha, Krishna, whatever it is the energy that creates you and I. It is the energy that creates all of the universe and makes it all happen together. And my passion, my desire to leave a legacy is to recognize that we all have a part in making this world a spiritual world, making this world truly what it is already, but to illuminate it. To say that we are not here alone. We are here with each other to lift each other up, to hold each other's hand, to help each other up, and to inspire countless others to do it. Yes, we have 60 people in the room here today. We have another 60 watching us online. So this 120 all going out and doing this to another 120 who do it to another 120 leaves a ripple and an impact on the world that cannot be matched. And I cannot possibly do alone. It is up to each and every one of us to leave a legacy. It is up to each and every one of us to step up and to when we feel that we just can't go on, to do it anyway, to find a new way to do it, a new way that transforms each and every one of us. So what legacy will you leave behind? What is it that you're here to do? What legacies do you leave behind? What strings of passion, purpose, and strings of intention do you weave together for your life? No day but today, folks, right? Every act counts. As Mother Teresa says, there are no large miracles. There are only small acts done with great love. Small acts done with great love to create a world beyond our wildest dreams and to leave a legacy while we're living and when we transition to the other spirit realm. Let's take that to our time of meditation.